So we're going to find the first four non-zero terms of the Taylor series about 0 for the given function x squared over square root of 1 minus x squared. If we start taking derivatives of this guy, it's going to get messy really quick. So what we're going to do is we're just going to find the Taylor series of 1 over square root of 1 minus x, or 1 minus x to the negative 1/2. So there's our f of x. And let's kind of work our way down. So our f prime of x equals negative 1/2 times 1 minus x to the negative 3/2 times a negative 1 because of the chain rule. So 1/2 times 1 minus x to the minus 3/2. f double prime of x is going to be negative 3/2 times a half, so we get negative 3/4 times 1 minus x to the negative 5/2 times a negative 1 again because of chain rule. You'll kind of see that that's a pattern depending on how far you have to go. You'll really be able to speed this thing up because it's just basically a power rule. So f triple prime of x, we're going to have negative 15 over 8 times 1 minus x to the negative 7/2, once again times a negative 1, which is going to make that a positive 15/8 times 1 minus x to the negative 7/2. Now we're doing all these at 0, which makes life real easy for us because f of 0 is just 1. f prime of 0, well, this part, when you put 0 in, these are all going to be 1, so we actually have our coefficients right there, 3/4 and 15/8. Okay, now what we want to do is build the Taylor series for just 1 over square root of 1 minus x. And we only need the first four non-zero terms. So our first term is going to be 1 plus 1/2 times x to the first over 1 factorial, but we don't need to write those, plus 3/4 times x squared over 2 factorial, plus 15/8 times x cubed over 3 factorial. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Let's do one round of simplification so we don't have to do it in the next step. So 1 plus x over 2, that's going to be 4 times 2 is 8, so plus 3x squared over 8. And now here we can do a little bit of canceling because we can cancel out the 3, get left with a 2 there, and that'll become a 5. So plus 5x cubed over 16, and then some other terms there to make them equal. Probably should have the plus dot 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 there. So what we're going to do two things, and we're going to do them in the same. We're going to do them together to make these equal. This is for this guy. If we notice they're very similar, except this has an x squared in place of x, and it's an x squared on top. Well, we can think of this as x. Let's write it over here. X squared times 1 over square root of 1 minus x squared. Now we can see very clearly that we have a composition, so I'm putting in an x squared for all my x's, and I'm going to multiply the whole thing by an x squared. So now I'm going to put x squared in for my x's. So 1 plus, that becomes x squared over 2. This becomes x squared squared over 8. And this becomes x squared cubed over 16. Now I'm going to do all the simplification in one step. This 1 is ready to go, so I multiply it by x squared. My first term is going to be x squared. Here, x squared times x squared is x to the 4th, so I get x to the 4th over 2. Here, x squared squared is x to the 4th, times another x squared is x to the 6th. So I end up with 3x to the 6th over 8. And finally, x squared cubed is x to the 6th, times another x squared is x to the 8th. So I get plus 5x to the 8th over 16. And then we have these other terms that we don't need to find for this problem. So there's our first four non-zero terms.